Hey everyone, welcome back to Beauty School Bobbi. Today we are here at the Redken Exchange in New York City, and we are so excited to be partnering with L'Oreal Access and Lead. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you do, leave a like. So first of all, I'm so excited to meet you. Once
pleasure to meet you.
You watch my shows, you're gonna be like, wow, I really calmed her down, because you are like such a calming energy. Like I feel like, do you guys hear me being way more calm right now? The boys are like, who is this? You have such a calming, amazing energy about you. Like the second you came in, like it's magnetic for sure. So super important and special to the industry. So I want you to tell me kind of where this all started. When was the first moment that you remember being exposed to the beauty industry?
Wow. I would say that I was exposed to the beauty industry first from my mom and dad. You know, both my parents are both hairstylists, and born and raised in born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. I live now in Brooklyn, New York. But my parents they had a salon, and they both worked in the salon. So my mom did a lot of the color technical things. My dad did a lot of cutting, styling, and things like that. But, back then, there were no nannies. Mm-hmm. So there was nobody to take care of us. So so my twin brother and I went to work with my parents. And so we swept up and we got quarters, and, we would fold towels, and we would eventually, we were shampooing, and I was like, oh, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. And next thing I know, I had like a hot stove iron I was playing with, and I learned all the things not to do with a hot stove iron.
Yeah. I love that you got to explore. So I'm sure everyone that came in loved you guys and loved seeing you grow up. I think that's such a special part. Was the clientele at that time, was it neighborhood community based more? It's, this is the person, these are just the people that you go to. It was kind of you knew everyone in the neighborhood.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. It was completely neighborhoody. And it was people that came to the salons were, honestly, they lived 2 or 3 blocks away. Mm-hmm. They were there.
Yeah.
If anybody drove in, it was like, ooh, they're fancy.
Yeah. They brought a car here.
They're fancy. Oh, dang. But really, truly, it was about people that just were right there.
Yeah.
And my father, and my mother doesn't do hair anymore. My father just retired, actually, last month.
So cool. And you said at 87,
He's
right?
87 years old.
Insane. I mean, it's so wild.
87 years old. So I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. You've got a little longer to go. Okay?
I got a lot of work to do.
So with their shop, was it always in the same place? Have they moved locations? When he retired, where did he retire from?
Yeah. Well, his shop, he moved it, but it was, he moved one shop to the next, and anyone from Baltimore knows North Avenue, right? North Ave it's a main drag in Baltimore. And my dad's salon now is on North Avenue, where it wasn't before, but he always wanted to be there.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, it's known. It's a big deal to be there. Do you remember talking to him about when he would come home from work? Do you remember talking to him? Did he ever come home and talk about his day, his whatever, or was it switched into dad mode when he got home?
It was a little bit of both.
Okay.
He would definitely talk about his day. He would hand me and my brother Sean a bag full of towels that were dirty.
You had work to do when he got home.
Yeah, when he got home, we had stuff to do. So we had to wash these towels, dry them, fold them, and have them ready for him to take back. So we were his laundry service.
So cool.
So, but he would definitely talk about, not this tough part of his day, but he always would share like the highlights,
I love that.
if you will.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that because
Yeah.
he could have said, I had this client that did this, said that, blah, 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 blah. And he didn't.
Yeah.
He only said, here's what I did this and I loved it. I did that and I loved it. This worked out great and so-and-so left and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So that was always, I was like, wow, this is an amazing industry.
Yeah. You didn't see a downside to it. Like you didn't see a bad side to it. Did you see that it was going to be hard work? Like, did you see, like when you thought about what your parents were doing, like, did you think about this is not an easy career? This is not an easy job.
Absolutely.
Like, okay.
100%. This is not an easy career.
Right. Yeah.
This is not in something that you just go, I'll just float into it and it's going to be great. And I'll be a millionaire in 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah, you actually had a really realistic perspective of it, actually, which is really rare.
Yeah.
You really came into it in a different way. So that's super interesting, actually, because you had a way, like you were so realistic about it. You knew exactly what was going to happen. Is owning your own salon now, did they get to come see it? Your parents, have they been?
My parents have seen my salons.
Okay.
And my dad was really proud. My mother is extremely proud. In fact, when she comes to New York to visit, she always comes and gets her hair done.
So
she's
awesome.
like, this is my son's salon.
Oh, stop.
And it makes me
I just hit the mic, sorry.
It just makes me go, whoa. And my aunt, who's her twin.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, there's 3 sets of twins.
Wow.
So my brother and I are the 3rd set of twins. My mom and my aunt, they are the 2nd set of twins. And the 1st set of twins is a boy and a girl. So we're the 3rd in a row.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, my wife
really
was
cool.
nervous.
Yeah. When she got pregnant, she was like, mm-mm.
She was nervous. She was like, dude.
Is your brother in this industry?
My older brother, Mazay, is. He actually works for L'Oreal Professional.
Oh, awesome.
But,
okay.
My sister, my little sister, is a hairdresser. She's badass.
Yeah.
She's so good.
Where is she at?
She's in Maryland.
Okay.
She's in Westminster, Maryland, outside of Baltimore. And she's badass. She's good. She's better than me. I tell people, like, go see her.
That's awesome.
She's badass.
Yeah.
And she's amazing. My mom, my dad, my brother, twin brother did not do hair.
Okay.
He was like, he went for 1 year and he was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you officially come into the beauty industry as far as going to beauty school? I know that you've had a lot of experience prior to actually getting licensed, but when did you go to beauty school and what did that experience look like for you?
So I've been doing hair for 30 years legally. And prior to that, I did a lot of hair. Like I asked my parents for like clippers, like hair clippers and trimmers and stuff for Christmas. And these idiots gave it to me. They was like, okay. I was like, what? So I started practicing cutting my own hair. And then I played football and lacrosse in high school and college. And so I cut everybody on the team's hair.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
So
you had more money than anybody.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. We were broke. We were so poor. We were so broke.
But when you were starting your own thing, like I love to hear when people are like, I was the one that was doing all of this. Like I was the one that was actually like getting that.
Check this out. No lie. I paid for college through hair.
That's amazing.
I left college with 0 debt.
That's unbelievable. Like that is so
Zero
crazy.
debt.
Like people don't like realize that. Like people don't talk about that enough. Like I think that's so cool. So where did you go to college?
I went to Towson University.
Okay. And what did you major in?
but business.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you had that background.
Yeah. And so I went to beauty school for 2 years. And when I left high school, like I planned this.
Okay.
I'll back up again. But I planned this in 8th grade. That sounds weird. Sounds really, really, really weird. But I planned my career, if you will. Mm-hmm. And so when I started my freshman year in high school, I already had all the classes that I needed to take. My sophomore year, I had that planned out. But I knew I wanted to learn something about the hair industry because I loved it. Mm-hmm. And my parents loved it. And I was like, why wouldn't I? You know, so I started my freshman year. I took only the things that I needed to take. I took my sophomore year, only the things I needed to take. So when I was in my junior year, my 11th grade, I was ready to graduate. I successfully did all the stuff. Mm-hmm. What that allowed me to do was to go to a vocational school at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I was still earning high school credits, but I also went to a vocational school where I learned hair. And so when I graduated high school, my senior year, I also graduated as a professional hairdresser.
Okay, so you already got that license like before you even graduated. That's amazing.
I planned it.
Yeah.
I planned it and I worked the plan. And then what happened is when I went to college, when I went to Towson for business, it was boring. Mm-hmm. Nothing against business. It was boring to me.
Yeah.
And I was used to something that was very creative and expressive and things like that. And so when I went to college, it was weird, but I met a fraternity. I met a bunch of dudes that were in a fraternity, mm-hmm. and they said, and I didn't pay to live on campus. Mm-hmm. They said, hey man, I was like, dude, you guys want haircuts? You guys want to get shaped? You want to get like cleaned up? And they were like, yeah. I was like, how often? They're like, all the time, every week. Done. I'm a professional hairdresser. I'm a barber. They're like, what? They said, here was the offer. If you will cut our hair anytime we want, you can stay here.
Wait,
you
what?
Can live here.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So you did it?
I did.
So you lived in a frat house cutting hair?
I lived in a frat house cutting hair.
That is unreal.
No joke.
What? That is insane.
No joke.
How long did you do this? Did you do it all 4 years?
4 years.
You did all 4 years?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
For 4 years I did that.
Wow.
And check it out. Guess what they did? They introduced me to the sororities.
Yep.
So the sororities wanted highlights and they wanted like haircuts and trims and blowouts. Done. Cash money.
What?
I saved every single dollar, and that's how I paid for college.
That is so amazing. Like, I absolutely love that. That is so cool. Like, to use the thing that you love, to use the thing that you're passionate about, like opening those doors to get you to exactly like what you needed to be. Like, that's so awesome.
And what it also gave me was practice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean,
I'm not sure if everything was awesome, but I did it.
That's amazing.
And they were okay with it.
Yeah.
So I did it. And it was, hey.
Yeah. I love that.
Like,
we need to find some of those pictures.
Hey,
I want to see some of these looks.
Well,
you gotta have something.
Oh, I definitely have them. I don't know. But they were so cool. I remember this girl, Jackie Fox, and she was like this. She was a sorority girl, and she was like kind of a crush. Mm-hmm. And she was the first person that was like, you'll do my haircut and give me like highlights? And I was like, yeah. That was my
That was your in.
That was my in, you know? And so Jackie was like, girls, he'll do your hair. So I would sit in the quad and these girls would bring money.
Oh my gosh.
And I did hair.
So cool. I love that. I think it's awesome. I do want to ask you though, what was it that made you, like, was getting a degree, going to business school, was it something you felt like you needed to do? Did you think that did you do it to understand that you're going to have a salon someday and I want to make sure I'm like educated in what I need to do to run my business? Or was it more like, I've got my license, but I'm going to need to do more? Like, what was that decision process for you?
You know what? I was the first person in my family to go to college.
Okay.
So I had to.
Yeah.
My dad never went to college. My mom had a scholarship, but she went for a little bit, and no one that was a king went to college. So I wanted to go to college.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. And you still did it like your way. Like that's what I think is so awesome. Is like
it was the only way I knew.
Yeah. Like you still made it work for you. And so like hair was such a part of that. And I think like that's the beautiful part of that story is that like, it wasn't that I'm going to quit doing hair and I'm going to go to school. I'm going to dedicate 4 years to go to traditional college and whatever. I'm going to go into that path. Like, I think it's really awesome that you kept true to yourself and true to like the thing that's making you happy. So you graduate from college, which is incredible. That's awesome. So you did it. And then how long in between you graduating before you opened up your salon? Were you working?
I was working.
Okay.
At the same time.
Okay.
So I was working throughout.
Okay.
You know, like I started working in a salon like a week after like graduating.
Okay.
So I was eager to work and happy to work and get down to it. And like my family is, they just have a work ethic that's very, very high. Mm-hmm. You know, so I'm not afraid of work. Yeah. You know, it's just what we do. Mm-hmm. So that was like, let's go. Mm-hmm. And I was like, let's go.
And so how long, like, how did that path like lead you into salon ownership?
You know what? It's been a minute. You know, my wife and my wife, like I said, she's brilliant. Mm-hmm. She's
gorgeous. She's
gorgeous.
Both.
She's a killer. And she's brilliant. And she has her master's in business. And she actually operates like, I'll give you all this and answer your question.
Okay, love it.
Her and I met at work. She was an education manager. I was an artistic director for a large chain of salons, which was there was 800 salons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And there were different regions. And she was the education manager for one of the regions. And she didn't like me.
Wait, why do you say that?
She did. She did not like me. Because I felt it. That's why. Because I felt it. I knew. She was like, dude, she said it to my face, I don't like you. And I was
like, that's how you knew, is when she told you that she didn't.
That's what I knew. She was like, she told me to my face,
I wasn't sure, but then she said it. That's what I knew.
And I was like, oh. So I was like, we got to get along, lady. And so I asked her to go to dinner. Let's just talk. Let's just try and be friends.
Yeah.
Right? And it was a long time, but she was dating people. I was whatever. And I was like, let's just try and be friends. 9/11 happened, right? I was heading to the office for the company that we both worked for. And
you're in New York at the time?
I was in Baltimore.
Okay, in Baltimore still, okay.
And she was in Virginia at the time. The first, I saw fighter jets going overhead, right? And the first person on my mind to call was her. It was her. I had to call her.
Yeah.
I didn't call my mother. I didn't call my father. I didn't call my brother. I didn't call anybody.
Yeah.
I called her and I said, hey, what are you doing right now? She was like, I'm in the salon. I got a room full of people. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I was like, leave.
Yeah.
She was the first person I called.
Wow. So amazing.
I was actually dating somebody.
Oh. So you knew.
I was dating somebody at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't call her till like later. I was like, hey, you okay? And it was, unfortunately, I was like, but that moment, I knew.
Yeah. That's
I knew.
amazing.
And so what led me to this is that her and I got together. We got married. We lived in Chicago at the time. We had our daughter, Sydney, who's now 14. But she's Sydney's a beast too. And she's a lacrosse player, a soccer player. She's a badass. And she doesn't actually remember Chicago. But we moved here because I was asked to come into corporate.
Okay.
So I worked for corporate, L'Oreal. And I headed up education for a couple of brands, some of them globally and so on like that. So I did a lot of training globally for brands. And like I'd go to Asia and talk to them about 6 different blacks.
Yeah.
And hair color.
Yeah.
You know, like I'd go to Europe and Europe too and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Which was amazing.
Yeah.
My wife was, at the time, she worked for Ulta.
Okay.
So she was, I don't know if I can say that or not.
Yeah.
But she worked for Ulta. She was the vice president for salon operations when we were in Chicago.
Okay. Wow.
Wow. I said she's a beast.
Yeah, you told me she's smart. My goodness.
Oh, that's not even the end of it.
Yeah.
So we moved here, and then we moved to Boston.
Okay.
And the reason why we moved to Boston is because she had a job opportunity where she was the CEO for Dessange Corporate.
Wow.
Dessange owns Fantastic Sam's. They own all these different brands of companies.
Wow.
So she was the boss for 1,500 salons.
Yeah. That's unbelievable. I mean, that is
I won't do it.
crazy. Yeah, no. How long did she do that?
She did that for a couple of years.
And this was after Sydney was born. So
Yeah.
she's mom
Yeah.
also. So she's
Yeah.
doing all of that. And
Yeah.
you're traveling and working and stuff from there?
The first year, she went by herself. So I was like kind of at home dad, or not at home. I still traveled, but I was at home with Sydney.
Yeah.
So her and I were here in New York for the first year only.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so when there's
so
people say that they're
cool.
like single parents, I'm like,
Yeah.
hats off to you.
Yes.
Because I get it.
Yeah.
I did it for a year and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what were you doing at that time? Like for that year you're with Sydney, are you doing hair still?
Yeah.
Like you're still doing hair?
Yeah,
and,
I was working in a salon in Bklyn and so on. But then it was like, you know, she finished that job basically. She was like, it was like, I finished Netflix.
Yeah.
It's kind of that.
Yeah.
She was like, what else you want to do? I was like, come home. She's like, well, do you want to go to Baltimore? Or do you want to stay in Brooklyn? And I said, let's stay in Brooklyn. Let's do our own deal. So we did. And that's what led us to opening our own salons.
Yeah. What is it about Bklyn? What is it that you like that draws you to it?
Come on. Have you been?
I haven't. We're going now.
When
We're going to your salon.
Yes,
like we gotta
please.
go. Like now, like we're going.
When you touch it, you're coming too.
Yes.
When you guys touch it,
Yeah.
it's a vibe.
Is it?
It is such a vibe. It's not this.
It's not this.
It's not New York. It's not. We call it the city. Manhattan's the city to us. Brooklyn is just homey.
Okay.
And there's something neighborhoody about it.
Okay.
And that has this vibe and feel that, but it's electric. It's so pulsing.
Yeah.
And it's so fun.
Yeah.
And you will see absolutely everybody in the world. Everybody in the world. You'll meet people from Bangladesh.
That's awesome.
You'll meet people from Asia, from China, from Korea, to England, to Ireland. You'll meet people.
Okay.
You'll meet the world in Bklyn.
I love that. So when you were picking a place for your salon, it was like an easy choice. Like,
it was just what we wanted to do.
We're going to take a quick break from the podcast to hear a word from our sponsors. Today's sponsor for this episode is LEAD. LEAD is the first degree designed with beauty professionals in mind. To create future professionals and leaders for this fast-growing industry, Rolfs has partnered with L'Oreal, Arizona State University, and Mesa Community College, and is proud to launch the first ever college and university degree designed specifically with beauty professionals. It's time to acknowledge the level of impact beauty professionals have in our lives. Every year, an individual consults with a beauty professional over 48% more than a physician. This is why advancing the accredited education of beauty professionals is our mission. LEAD is shaping the future of beauty by developing the minds and expanding the intellect of beauty professionals who maintain and restore our self-expression and well-being. For more information, visit leadinstitute.degree today. The folks at Access, L'Oreal's online destination for professional education, are ready to kick off the holidays. Because they love cosmetology students so much, they're launching a holiday promotion just for you. It's called Haul for the Holidays, and trust me, it's a haul like no other. And what's even better is that it couldn't be easier to participate. So here's how it works. Starting on November 1st, you will log into L'Oreal Access, complete the Haul for the Holidays learning plan, which has been curated just for students so they can learn about different L'Oreal professional hair care and color brands. And then you'll hop over to L'Oreal's Level Loyalty Reward site and enter to win the Ultimate Stylist Starter Kit. 100 students will win the holiday haul containing prizes like a mannequin head, a carbon comb, tint brushes, mixing bowls, super cute capes and aprons, towels, a ton of full-size L'Oreal products, and so much more. Then 10 lucky winners will get all of that plus enough level points to redeem for a nice set of shears or a Dyson hairdryer. Typically, you have to earn points on level by buying L'Oreal products, but with Haul for the Holidays promotion, you have the chance to get them for free. How insane is that? Students will have just until before the end of November to complete it. So make sure you're signed up for both L'Oreal Access and L'Oreal Level Loyalty Rewards program. More info is on its way, but go ahead and get excited. This is about to be a happy holiday indeed. Now let's get back to the episode. You're very forward thinking and very intentional. Well, I'll say that. I just met you, but I think that you are.
Yes, I am.
And very intentional. So what your salon is today, is this what you envisioned it to be? Did you always think that you would have multiple locations? Did that kind of just happen out of need? How did that all pan out? Did you always?
Such a great question. Such a great question. I honestly didn't want to own salons.
Okay. So that wasn't the plan. That wasn't in the car, or that wasn't in your plan.
What's intentional for me is that I wanted a space that my daughter, who's biracial, could get her hair done.
Okay. That's your why. That's so crazy. I love it.
Get her hair done.
Yeah.
Well, and it was not the point that I want to open a salon and put my name on it and blah, blah. No, I'm not that person.
Yeah.
But what's intentional for me was to have a space that someone who is my daughter who I love to bits and is biracial can get her hair done and not feel uncomfortable going into a space and going, can you do my hair? Like, she should never have to ask that question.
Right.
No one.
I was going to say, when did you, always know that? Like, because you said it was for your daughter. Like, you obviously, like, you have a sister and you have all, like, when was it Sydney that made you be like, I'll do it then? Like, I'll make it happen and I'll create that. Was it that?
Sydney makes me do everything.
I know. Girls
she makes me do everything.
That.
Girls do that. She makes me do everything. She makes me be a better person. She makes me be a better dad. She makes me just be better.
Yeah.
You know, all and the things that we talk about and discuss and share with each other. She's my therapy. She does it for me. She makes me walk through walls that I never would have done.
So does she think you're really cool? Like, she's 14, so I feel like nobody thinks their parents are cool at 14. But does she think it's cool that, like, do her friends come to the salon? Like, does she come in and get her hair done still? Like, do you do her hair, or do you let are other people allowed to do her hair?
I'm the only person that cuts her hair.
Okay, got it.
Other people are allowed to style her hair.
Okay.
But I'm the only one that cuts it. But she can get her color done, her little, things and little green bits and blue bits and stuff that she wants. And people want to do that. And I'm like, that's cool. But when it comes to like cutting her hair, it's me. It's Dad. Only.
That's so cool.
But I hope, she told me I was the cool dad at her school.
Oh, stop. That's like the nicest thing she's ever going to say to you.
Yeah. Ever.
No, like, never.
Ever.
Like, you've got to like be like, wait, what did you say?
Yeah, I was like, can we do it again? Do
One
it
more
again.
time.
Do it again. Yeah, she's like, Dad, you're like, she's like, everybody thinks you're the coolest dad ever.
Stop.
I was like,
oh my gosh. Oh, whoops.
I was like, what? Because I am.
Yes, exactly.
And that's how I leave it. I'm like, shit. I gotta keep up with that.
So awesome. I love that.
She's like, she's so cool. And like she has friends that are boys and girls and so on. And they're always on the phone. They always FaceTime. I don't know why, but they do.
Yeah.
And so when they FaceTime, and I'm always like, hey, kiddo, what's up? And she's like, oh, I'm talking to Trey, I'm talking to Michael, I'm talking to Care. I'm like, give me the phone. And I'm like, hey, what up? And they're like, hey, Mr. King, what's up? What's up? I'm like, what it do? What you guys going on? What you cracking? So we have like just this exchange, and it's all good. It's awesome. All good.
That's great. That's so cool. So your salon, tell me a little bit about the stylist that you have, products, like what you're doing, what's happening in the salon right now.
So the salon is buzzing right now. Thank goodness. We, this pandemic pause has been tough on a lot of us. It really has. But I have to tell you, I was afraid. I was like really scared that are we going to be able to stay open? So we have 2 locations, and one of them is by the Barclay Center in Bklyn, and one of them is by like a really cool art institute called Pratt. And that's our first location. And you know what? I have to tell you, the stylist, the team, those guys went to the mat. They went to the mat for us. And that's why we're still open. They hustled. They got themselves ready, and they did it. And I can't thank them enough. These people are solid. These are people that are ready to work, ready to go. If they're people that are just want to do this for fun, I'll give them like, look, there's 18,000 salons in New York. I have 2 of them. And I'll tell you what, you can go to those other 17,998 and have fun. Yeah. And do whatever. I'm in the business of making you profitable. and making you successful and knowledgeable
Yeah.
about hair. And, that's it. If you don't want that, go somewhere else, but we do it. And my wife, like I said, she's no joke. So I'll give you all the technical stuff I can in my body, in my being. And, it's been really, really good. We've been doing $1 million every year, over $1 million actually. Every year
Yeah.
for the last 4.
Wow. For the last 4? Through COVID. Wow. What do you attribute that to? Why do you think, what do you think that is?
The people, we know what we do and we do it to do it.
Yeah.
We definitely we get down, our salon's called Hair & Co. Bklyn. So Bklyn is where we are. That's the abbreviation for Brooklyn. But we do hair, and that's it, So the CO, everybody thinks it's for company, but it's for our values. So our values are collaboration, community, commitment. And commitment, it means that we commit to our clients, every single person and our team. Every person that walks through that threshold, you are 10. That's our commitment. Confidence. So we do probably 2 times more training than most salons in the industry, in the country. We're always training. We're always giving them stuff. So there's no question if they are they got it, they got it. They got it. They're awesome. And then communication. We want to talk. Open door, open book, whatever. If there's something on your mind, say it. It's all good. It's not like, oh, the boss says. It's not how we roll. So that's how it's all about hair. It's all about community. We had salons that used to be next to us. Look, when you go into a salon in this industry, there's 2 things that you always can see that are segregated: churches, hair salons. You go in a black church, you're in a black church.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You go in a black salon, you're in a black salon.
Yeah.
You in a white salon. I didn't want that.
Yeah.
We did not want that. We wanted people to go, I'm welcome. Right? And we do everybody's hair. That's why the name is hair. It's just hair. We just do hair.
Yeah. Well, I think that's so special. I think you have I've talked to a lot of salon owners, and you have a very different perspective. And I think it's a perspective that I think a lot of people want to claim that they have, right? And, when you're hired, it's a lot, I talk to beauty schools too. I'm in it. So it's a lot of oh, we're community and you're family and you're this, but I think it seems like you're living that, that's what it's about. And that doesn't get lost when you've been there a month and, the new shiny wears off. That's what it is.
We have Thanksgiving dinners with people. We have Christmas dinners. We do birthday celebrations. We do all that stuff because we want people to know that they are home.
Yeah.
And they're in a place that is for them.
Yeah.
Yes, we've had some people check out.
Yeah.
As all businesses do.
Absolutely.
And that's okay. To me, it means that we're getting to a place where it's really about those finite people that are really awesome.
Let me talk to you about your hiring process of who can come in, who joins the family, who gets to come in. What questions are you asking in interviews that might be different than, I'm sure the normal questions are asked, but are you asking different questions? Because, like you said, you've got to make sure they're in it for the right reasons and they're in it for the long haul. So what are you asking that's maybe a little different? Yeah,
what's funny is I had somebody, by the way, if there's anybody in beauty school that's actually going to interview and they say, oh, well, I'm going to be here for about 5 years and I'm going to open my own salon. That's the worst thing ever. That's not okay. And I'm like, really? Oh, so you're going to train you up and then you're going to leave and possibly try to get some marketing? No. So
that's a red flag for you.
That's a red flag. That is a red flag and a horn.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I've had people say the wildest things in interviews. Only one time, Allison and I were interviewing somebody, and this person said something along that line. So they're like, you know what? I mean, I'm good. I'm a master. Like,
wait, they're like
they profess to be a master, and I'm a martial artist.
Okay.
By love.
Okay.
Right? I've been training in martial arts since I was 6 years old, in several different styles. I have 7 different black belts and so on, blah, blah, blah.
Guys, he can fight you, okay? Is what he's saying, all right? You guys, he can fight you. They all looked up. I looked over at them and all of them were just staring at you.
I won't. I'm a lover. I am a fighter, but I'm a lover. I'm a lover. And I know that by creed, you have to do something for 10,000 hours. One thing to be a master at it. Then you do something else for 10,000 hours. When someone tells me I'm a master stylist, cool. I'm not. I've been doing this for 30 years. I still do not believe I'm a master stylist. But when people tell me that and they walk in, they say, I'm a master. I'm like, oh, cool. And they're like, I'm like, so tell me, do you do this? Like, I ask them technical questions like, do you do a silk press? Do you do fades? Can you do relaxer? Can you do a blowout? Can you do a balayage? Can you do highlights? And they go, well.
You're like, got you.
Well, I'm like, and Allison will be sitting right where you are right now. And one time I just stood up and left.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah. I love that because
like,
what
you're
else?
wasting my time.
Yeah. Wow.
It's like, you're wasting my time. Allison, finish it.
Was she like, what are you doing? Like you can't, like was she?
Yeah. She was like, you're leaving? I'm like, yep, I'm done.
Wow.
And this was a person that I believe did not have their head on straight because they were not right. They said things in a way that was demeaning to the LGBTQ plus community, and I won't have that.
Yeah.
I won't have that. I was like, no. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I stood up, rolled, and Allison is like, and so she finished. But some of the questions that I ask people are, talk to me about what you love to do. Like, what is it that makes you happy behind the chair? I want to understand that. Yeah. Right? What are the things that are fearful on the flip side, if you will, so that I understand how do we train you, right? We ask them to do a quick assessment. I always want that assessment because they rate it. 1 to 5. How are you at shampooing? And they'll go, I'm a 5. Great. How are you at blow drying? I'm a 4. Fantastic. How are you at men's barbering? Like barbering hair or really short clipper work? Because guys and girls do clipper work too. Yeah. But how are you at clipper work? 2. So then I know how to specifically train that person to be better at what they do.
But I really like that you do that because I think that self-reflection is important. And I think when you're coming out of beauty school, so even if somebody's not coming to you like that has experience in the salon, like if somebody's coming to you out of beauty school, they have completed their in Tennessee, 1,500 hours. And
15.
they're like big, they think they know it, right? Because they're the seniors. And so they're the ones that they've figured it out, right? And I think, not that we want to like knock them down or anything, but I think that self-reflection is good of like, where do you still need work? And it's funny, the things that you listed are exactly how I guessed our students would feel, and I think that those questions are important because they haven't done that in a while. They're nervous for the first little bit of beauty school and you take your first client and that's terrifying and all that stuff, right? But they haven't had that feeling in a little bit.
And what's important is for them to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if the salon, my salon or any other salon, if they do that assessment or do something like that, it means that they care.
Right.
It means that they want to fuel them and want to support them. If they don't, that means they want to basically like wash you over with what they do.
Right. Yeah.
And when that happens, you'll do only what they do.
Yeah.
I want people to do everything.
Yeah.
Like I said, hair and comb. I want them to do everything.
Yeah.
But I gotta have a starting base, which it means like, what are you great at? And if you're great at something, fantastic. Let's fucking rock. Let's go. Let's get you great at that. If you're not, let's help you get great at that.
Yeah, definitely.
So that you feel confident when somebody sits in front of you and you're like, hey, that's rip.
It's really cool. I really like that you do that. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah,
I think that's important.
It's worked out for us. It is important. And the only reason why I say that, because I didn't have that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't have that. I didn't have the first salon I worked in, somebody say, what are you good at? What aren't you good at? And help me get better at the stuff. My first haircut took me an hour and 40 minutes.
Wow.
Would you pay for that now today?
Can you imagine if somebody sat down in your chair and it took an hour and 40 minutes?
Nobody's paying for that.
No.
So my first haircut was this woman, and her name was Donna. Donna was she was so kind to me. She was so patient. She allowed me to do her hair, and I did her hair and I finished it. And it was the one haircut I never learned in school.
It always happens that way. Always happens that way.
There's like 4 or 5, whatever that you learn,
right.
But that was the one I didn't learn.
Right.
And you know what? The one thing that I absolutely adore about Redken and being an artist for Redken is that we don't teach you haircuts. We teach you hair cutting.
Right. Yeah. I think that's something that not a lot of people think about. Yeah.
How to cut hair. And what I learned from Redken was so much more than just a haircut. And luckily enough, when I started back in 1996, oh my God, I know that sounds really far away.
Dalton, what year were you born? Yeah. See, I know. They're babies. I know. Sorry to make you do that, but I just needed to know.
He was 98? 98 was bro.
No, it's terrible.
Bro.
They just remind me all the time about how old I am. And I'll be doing stuff on my phone and he's like, oh, I'm like, sorry that I do it this way, Dalton. I'm sorry. Okay. I've lived, all right?
Yeah, we do this. This is how we do it. So I was like, I came to the Redken Exchange in 1996 and took a class called Cut No Y. Or back then it was called Principle-Based Design. And it was a 4-day program, intensive cutting, and it was with Sam Villa and Chris Barron.
Wow. That's wow.
Yeah, my mentors.
Yeah.
And I was in New York, but I went to my hotel room and I studied every night. I still have my book. I still have my workbook from that class.
Awesome.
And I cherish it. That.
Yeah.
And it's torn up. It's a bitch. It's all over the place. It's folded and marked up and whatever. But I have that book still. And I studied and I studied and I studied. Every day I went back to the room and studied. And I realized then it wasn't haircuts. It was hair cutting.
Yeah.
And that's what changed for me. It changed my career. It changed my life. I would not be able to own 3 houses, several cars, put my daughter through a private school that cost more than Harvard if I didn't have this.
Yeah. I mean, it's a thing that a lot of people just really, I mean, I think you're just, I don't know, I feel like you're such a unicorn, but I do think that, a lot of people don't realize the life that you can have doing this. And there's so many people that aren't encouraged. And I mean, I'm just going back to like your dad not complaining about what he's doing and being positive to show you like a light of this, because you could have gone any direction and you could have done anything. And like to have that, to be the life that you have and to have the things that you have, I think it's so wonderful. And I think it just all blessed. Circles back to that, you know? Yeah. I have one last question for you. And it's going to be my most important question.
Hit it.
What advice do you have for beauty school students, for young stylists?
Wow.
What tips can you give them? And I mean, you know where they're at right now, and you know kind of some of the struggles that they're facing, and you know the things that they don't even know they're going to face, you know, down the road. What advice do you have for them?
Wow. What was it, Kendrick Lamar? He was like, be humble.
Yes.
Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. That. Be humble. Sit down. Learn. Listen. You know, there's so much to do in this industry. There's so much to do. I mean, the possibilities are absolutely endless. You know, you can be in education. You can be a salon owner. You can be in sales. Eventually, you can do a ton of things. There's so many more than I can list. Mm-hmm. What's most important is that you listen. That you, when you leave beauty school, the job of school is to teach, right? It's not to own; it's to teach. So when you leave beauty school, that means that you learned and you have you have information. Get your test done. Mm-hmm. Get licensed.
Yeah.
After that, that's when learning really starts, right? And I would say if you really want to be successful in this industry, get your hands into every type and texture of hair possible.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Don't get stuck on one, because you'll be pigeonholed. Mm-hmm. You'll be stuck.
I think people need to choose beauty schools based on that also. Yeah. I think it's an important question to ask when you're visiting beauty schools, when you're going in. Ask those questions. Make sure you're going to be taught. Make sure you're getting all mannequins. Like, make sure you're getting all, I mean, that's, you know, again, way behind. It shouldn't have been. Whatever, we're there, and it's like it's good that we got there, but but you've got to ask those questions now. And when you're choosing beauty schools, those are the questions that you need to ask.
Absolutely. When you choose a beauty school, you want to ask them, "Are you going to teach me about highly textured hair?" Mm-hmm. And the flip side, are you going to teach me about really straight hair?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you going to teach me how to do highlights?
Yeah.
Are you going to teach me how to do a press and curl? Mm-hmm. Are you going to teach me how to do a silk press? If they say, well, we do this, but not that, don't go to that school.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got to learn everything. Mm-hmm. You've got to learn all the fabrics that hair has.
Yeah.
And if you don't, unfortunately, you're going to cut yourself short.
Yeah.
You know? So to me, one of the best pieces of advice that I can have for people is get your license first, graduate. Find a school that's going to teach you as much as you can learn. Get your license and then apprentice. You know, go to salons that are possibly the hair that you have, and the salons that the hair that you don't have. Mm-hmm. You know, so you can understand it, and that's what's going to take you further. You'll learn so much more by touching things that you aren't familiar with, you know, and learn the color game, learn how to, you know, hair cutting is my passion, but it's also coming back around, you know, it's shaping and shags and so on, and are so in the forefront right now. So you have to know how to cut hair, and style hair. Gosh, I could go forever about what to share with somebody that's in beauty school, because there's so much. But it's to me, it's like keep learning, really, truly keep learning and find a mentor. Yeah. Find a mentor that's going to help you grow, because that's somebody that's going to help you continue to move forward.
Yeah. I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here. I think can you just say officially the only person that has ever made me calm? I think in the history of the world, the only person that has ever made me calm. I'm a psychopath. I am hyper. I am the most hyper person. I usually scare people when I meet them. I'm all hi. I'm so excited. You calmed me down and made me feel very comfortable. So I love this. I feel like it was to get the answers that we need to hear. And thank you so much for sharing. So where can we follow you?
You can follow me a few different places. Instagram is my name, Shannon William King. My hair salons are Hair ANDCO BKLYN, spelled out. So Hair and Co BKLYN. Facebook, Shannon King.
Awesome.
Same thing. But most importantly, if you really want some business stuff, follow my wife.
Okay. Awesome. What's her handle?
She's the killer. Hers is Allison Hurley King. So her name is spelled ALLYSON, Hurley, HURLEYKING.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's...
Yeah, we're definitely going to check it out.
She keeps all my creative stuff focused.
Yeah. Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, somebody better do it, because I'm not like, I'm like, wow.
For sure.
I just want to be like, yeah. And I have 13 ideas. She's like, buddy. She's like, buddy, let's start with one.
Yeah.
And then, and she's got blonde hair, green eyes. She's Irish. She looks like apple pie, but she's a killer.
She looks like apple pie.
Yeah, she's a killer.
I love that. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll definitely be sure to follow you and check it out.
Pleasure.
So thank you guys. Thank you all so much for watching today, and thank you to L'Oreal Access and Lead. We are so excited for this partnership and hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, share it with somebody that you think might like it too. Make sure you follow us at Beauty and Style Network on Instagram, and make sure you follow me at Beauty School Bobbi on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, ring that bell so that you get notified when the episodes are coming out. Leave a comment down below, and we can't wait to see you next time. Bye guys.